On this episode, we talk about Jack's new video game guide.
It's the awesomest.
Jack, thanks for coming back to the show. Tell me, what about this video game guide got you so excited?
Because it had all the video games.
Give me an example of some of the ones that it had on.
It had Wind Waker.
From like Zelda?
Yeah.
Nice. Did it have any good tips in there for that?
Yep. It had like a boom wing.
Like how to get it?
Yeah.
Did it have any Mario Odyssey tips?
Yeah. You have to fully had to get on to be a bad guy.
What's your favorite one to become a bad guy in Mario Odyssey?
I would say Bowser.
Bowser? Like at the end?
Yeah.
Whoa, sorry folks, there's spoilers in this episode. Hey, Jack, thanks for coming on. You know, I'm really curious about your insight on... hold on. That's all for now, folks. We gotta catch our guest. Join us next time.
On this episode, we get sherped by ancient texts that should have gone extinct a long, long time ago.
Stay a while and listen. This ancient scroll was discovered...
Shut up, Deckard! Welcome to Save Every Universe. My name is Alec Garcia. I'm a bullet with gloves and a steely look of determination.
You look, that's nothing to go off of. Okay.
If you don't know it, friendo.
What was it
Your
again?
bullet with gloves.
Oh, okay.
Steely look of determination.
I do.
That's all. What else are you going to say about that?
That was such a softball lob. So obvious. All right.
It was less obvious than your Mario reference.
Oh, are you ready for another obvious one?
Go.
This one's going to be an easy one.
Go.
My name's Robbie. I wasn't old enough to take on the mantle of hero, so I was bound in slumber until I could wield the blade of evil's bane and strike down the darkness plaguing my kingdom.
Chrono Trigger.
I'm Chrono Trigger.
What is Chrono Trigger?
I'll take video games about time for 300.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, it would work. But no, I'm not. I am not Chrono Trigger.
Welcome to this very special episode of Save Every Universe, in which we are going to talk about a topic that I am very passionately against. So go ahead, Robbie.
Yeah, he's definitely passionately against it. Actually, I didn't know you were passionately against it.
I have two exceptions under which I will approve of these items, which we were going to talk about.
All right,
but they are an interesting historical note in the spectrum.
This episode was spurred on by real life events, as many of ours are. Alec was dumpster diving. I mean, he was at old bookstores.
I was at a used bookstore in a tiny mountain town.
Yeah.
In the furthest reaches of New Mexico.
Why don't you tell us more? Tell us what happened.
I went into this bookstore in Ruidoso, New Mexico. Ruidoso, as some people call it. Little mountain town. Fun fact, the guy from How I Met Your Mother. What's his name? No, the other one. The blonde one who sleeps with all the chicks.
Oh, Barney.
Barney.
Yeah.
What's the actor's name?
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris is from that town.
He's from Ruidoso?
Yeah.
Really?
Fun fact.
I didn't know that. I thought
Yeah.
he was from
IMDb
Albuquerque.
it. Fact check that. I'm like 90% sure.
Fake fun fact.
No, I'm pretty sure. I asked a bartender there one time and they said that was true. So.
Oh man, bartenders are the
ironclad
fountain of knowledge.
Anyway,
They're the keepers of the code.
Yeah. Anyway, I went into a used bookstore there. Dog-eared paperbacks. Shout out. She's definitely a listener.
She must be a listener.
Yeah, and probably 70% of the store was just piles of romance novels.
Nice.
But they had a nice little like thriller mystery section, and then they had just this weird grab bag like cubicle in the middle of the store.
Yeah.
And I was looking through it, and I found...
After you exhausted your search through the romance novels.
Well, I glanced. What am I
course
going
you
to do,
did.
just not glance?
Maybe
It's
you thumbed through a few.
That's, okay, if you don't go to like a fried chicken restaurant and not get fried chicken, right?
Sure, of course.
So clearly they knew what they were doing.
I'm not
I had
judging.
to... Anyway.
Yeah.
So I went in their little weird cubicle and I found Ken Ustin's. It was like a guide from the 80s called The Guide to Beating the Home Video Games.
Yeah.
Which is a really funny way to phrase it. The home video games. It's like at that time when he wrote it was like this canon, this body that would never change is like how it's phrased. These are the games, these are set, here's everything you need to know about them.
Yeah.
And it's super interesting though. Really like a blast through the past. The whole beginning of it is like a comparison of Atari versus a shitload of other systems that I had never even heard of that just vanished.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting though. So they do like side-by-side comparisons of the consoles, which sounds exactly like the console wars of today.
Yeah.
Funny, because we talked about this not too long ago with E3 and Xbox One X and all that stuff, and game lineup wins every time. And that seems to have been true since the Atari.
Yeah.
Atari was not the best system or the most powerful system, but it had the best game lineup, and that's the only one anyone can remember now.
Tale as old as time, dude.
Tale as
History
old as
repeats
time.
itself.
So fuck off, that guy.
So before we get into that, what you've discovered in the depths of this Indiana Jones tome, it was rather serendipitous. Man, I'm just cranking them out, these Scrabble words today.
You're good at words. I am not.
So my son came home with a list of books he wanted from the book fair.
Yeah.
And one of them was Ready, Set, Play.
Yeah,
and,
Scholastic.
Scholastic made it. And so he was trying to explain it to me, and he was like, it's a book about video games. And I was like, what? No, that doesn't make sense. I was like, he must not understand what he's saying. I mean, he's just barely learning to read. So I'm trying to be nice to him. And he's like, no, Dad, it talks about all the video games.
Yeah.
And he said, all the video games. And so I was like, no. And then his teacher was like, oh, it's just a book that has like tips on all the new video games. I was like, wait,
It's a guide.
what? It's a guide? So I was like, all right, let's check it out. We'll buy it for him.
Yeah.
We bought it for him. And it is like for children. It's like an introduction to a bunch of different genres of video games, what their history is, who some of the major characters are.
Right.
And then it has tips and guides and walkthroughs for some of the
Has,
games.
like, tips on how to play Mario Odyssey.
Yeah,
and,
it's got Sonic,
Splatoon,
Splatoon,
a lot of
Minecraft
Nintendo stuff.
yeah, but not just Nintendo stuff. They had Minecraft in here. They had like brain teasers.
There's even tips in there about like RPGs, like how to create a balanced team with your who you select and
it's crazy.
It's really crazy.
It's got really good illustrations and good descriptions. Oh yeah, they've got the Lego Marvel game.
It's kind of like what we went to go buy off the magazine rack back when I guess Game Informer was a thing back then, and Game Pro. Remember Game Pro? Yeah. There was a bunch of Nintendo Power was a magazine back then. There was a bunch of magazines that we would go buy off the rack to get that kind of information, and some of it was like probably above our age range. There was like screenshots of Resident Evil and stuff, but this is like very catered to little kids. It's very cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
So yeah, it was weird convergence of those two experiences. We got talking about strategy guides basically.
Yeah, and honestly, it was kind of weird how much these two publications have in common.
Right.
So why don't you start? Tell me more about your book, your discovery of the arcane.
The book itself was pretty interesting. I think maybe we should just jump a little bit more into like what we think about strategy guides.
All right.
Why it might be a little more interesting. But I gave you this. It came as a set for
was a set.
$4.
Yeah.
One of them had like everything, and it took me down the alley of like everything that's in Ready Player One, basically, like adventure and some of those really old school Joust. Yeah. But it's so funny to hear them write. They're like, now here's what this video game is about. And they're describing Pac-Man, and it's like pages of them talking about the premise of the game and the mechanics of it, and explaining that you eat the dots. Really interesting. But then they have like pages and pages of these patterns that you can run that are
cherry chasing dot muncher.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
But people were like memorizing this stuff back in the day, and it really isn't that different from like going on YouTube now and looking up a guide for like a Destiny raid where it's like, hey, these enemies are going to spawn here, and so you need to move here and shoot there. It's that type of content, but for Pac-Man. So I mean, the stuff's been around forever. To me, I find that interesting as a historian of video games.
Dr. Jones. Let's talk a little bit about how things have kind of changed with gaming guides. So when we were kids, they were normal like books or magazines, but even like whole gaming strategy. I mean, I think we called them strategy guides. Yeah. You bought it at GameStop, but you could buy them.
That was like the upsell at GameStop for a long time. Do you want the strategy guide with that?
Yeah. And they kept going well past that being the upsell.
Right.
But I remember as a kid, these were like gold. I never bought them. And you never bought them.
No, I don't believe in them.
But friends that had them, I was like, whoa, look at this.
Yeah.
I had an Ocarina of Time. I had access to an Ocarina of Time one.
Yeah.
I still remember like the art on the pages, and I put so much time reading through those.
Even though I never would have purchased one, that is one of the games that you would want that for. There were so many nooks and crannies and
Water Temple. That's it. That thing was worth its value
for the water
just
temple.
for the Water Temple.
Yeah.
Like the Water Temple was really hard and really complicated. And I haven't gone back and played it in a while. I think I played one of the remasters and got to the Water Temple and was like, no, I'm not doing this again. But why didn't you believe? You didn't believe in them even back then?
No, I think there's one main exception that I have for these, and that's like Breath of the Wild, like finding all the shrines, or like if you're doing like a thing where you have to collect a bunch of shit on a very large map. Then I'm for that. I'm not going to just wear the stupid little mask that wiggles when you're close and walk around the entire map. Right?
Why not?
Yeah. No, I'm not.
You think your time's
I did
valuable?
do it on Arkham Asylum. I found all the riddles totally myself. That was like one of the only games I've ever done that.
Asylum?
Yeah. Found and solved all of them myself. That's the only time I've ever gone like hardcore 100%ing.
I think I did that in Arkham City.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I looked any up. I don't remember looking any up, but maybe I got stuck on one or two.
But I used a guide, an online guide, like one of the interactive maps on IGN for like the shrines and those kinds of
Breath
things.
of the Wild.
That's
IGN
an acceptable use of a guide to me.
Breath of the Wild on IGN was such a great...
It was
that
fantastic.
map was really useful.
And I think that you mentioned before they have one for God of War. I imagine there's going to be one for Red Dead Redemption 2 that's going to be pretty helpful.
Yeah.
There has to be.
So now...
in general, I think you should have to struggle through a game. I think you should just figure your shit out and you should get through the game. Otherwise, just sell your system.
Well, so in general, I actually agree. Yeah. So I don't... It's not like I fired up God of War and was like, cool, chapter 1, IGN... Yeah. No, not at all. I didn't do any of that. I waited until I was hunting all the ravens.
Right.
And then I was like, cool, I missed these ones.
The end game stuff, yeah.
So games that, to me, have a lot of exploration-y shit that is not obvious.
Yeah.
Or crafting. Things that and I used God of War a lot for that, actually. Yeah. It was more for crafting when I was like, I don't even know what this ingredient is.
See, I would put that in a similar kind of thing, like resource gathering, and they're only in certain parts of the map. I would put that in a similar vein as where's this shrine, is where's this resource.
Yeah, games with intense crafting, those are typically not intuitive.
Right.
And they're intentionally not intuitive. I don't know if they just know everyone's going to go online and look. Like Monster Hunter World, forget it. I had to go online and look up some of this shit.
Right.
And it was so convoluted and, if you haven't done this patrol on this mission at this time of day, you haven't even unlocked the monster you need that might drop the piece you want.
Did Monster Hunter World have a thing where if you discovered an area, it would leave a permanent indicator on your map, here's where you find this resource or something like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but it had
Far Cry 5, they didn't have a crafting system, but there were challenges, gather this type of resource or catch this fish or whatever. And they had really nice indicators all over their maps.
Well, so once you researched a monster, which it wasn't even your first level of research, you had to do multiple things,
right.
You would know what dropped off of them.
Okay.
Typically, at the point you needed that item, you hadn't researched it enough, or you would have an abundance of that item.
Yeah.
So to me, it felt like, cool, I need to go online and look this up to even figure out where this comes from.
So that I think that's an interesting point. That in general, if you wanted to broaden that a little bit, not that I'm backpedaling on my stance or anything.
Yeah.
But if you hit a point...
You're a flipper. You're an issue flipper.
I'm a flip-flopper.
Flip-flopper.
If...
I like flipper better.
I have a penis shaped like a mushroom. Trump reference.
You're just a flipper, dude, like a dolphin. That was good. I was hoping you'd make a dolphin.
No, that's a goat.
It's a goat dolphin.
That's a...
What is that?
Yak.
You're not teaching your daughter
Moving on.
animal.
I taught her yak. Yak. Yak.
Do yaks actually say that?
That's how he does it on Ace Ventura.
You're teaching your daughter animal sounds based on
ABCs. There's a yak in her ABC book on Y, and I say Y is for yak. Yak. Yak.
Does she do it?
She does it, yeah.
That's horrible.
And that's from Ace Ventura. I have no idea what a yak actually sounds like.
I can't judge you. My children do the chicken dance from Arrested Development.
And they think that's what
that's what a chicken does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, I guess I can't judge.
What are we talking about? Oh, so another acceptable reason to use a guide in general is if you hit a point in a game where the developers they're asking you to do something and it's clearly not explained. It's nothing's labeled. You make an honest effort to find that shit, and it's still more difficult than it should be to get to that. So a lot of sometimes I'll go on and be like, how do I find this shit?
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of frustrated people online saying, yeah, this is bull crap, but here's where you find it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Even if I was stuck on a puzzle, I typically don't look up the solution unless I get really stuck. There's been a couple puzzles that I just didn't have the patience for and knew I was never going to do this.
Yeah.
In Dragon Age Inquisition, you played Inquisition?
Yeah, I think there's a second one, right?
Yeah.
I played the second one.
You didn't play the newest one?
What's the newest one?
Inquisition.
Oh, is it Dragon Age 1, 2, and Inquisition?
Yeah.
I did play Inquisition. Okay, I thought it was Dragon Age Inquisition 1 and Dragon Age Inquisition 2.
So you know the star guides where you had to match, there was a map and you had to connect the dots to match the constellation?
I think so, yeah. It's been a long time.
Didn't even bother. I hated that shit so much. I was like, I'm not going to sit here and dick around connecting the dots.
Yeah.
What do you think I'm some retiree who's got nothing better to do? I'm sorry. If you like my wife loved those puzzles, so I understand that plenty of people liked it. I didn't even attempt, I did the first one successfully. And still was like, nope, I'm not even, no, I was so mad and so, refused to do it that...
I think that's interesting, though, because some puzzles resonate, right? There are, I got really into the Joker, or why do I always say Joker riddles? That's the third time I've done this on the podcast.
Yeah.
The Riddler riddles. Anyway, I got really into those, and it was a point of pride. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed, the lining up of the things and all that stuff.
Yep.
I thought they were fun, so I just did them all without any help. But yeah, if it's a drudgery and you don't like it already, but you want the achievement, that's one of those those things where you get a guide and you're like, okay, I'm just going to rip through this shit as fast as I can because I don't care.
So that's another acceptable function of a guide for you?
Okay, there's 3. Okay, there's 4. My other one would be fighting game moves.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
Like fatalities or whatever.
I think most games now have it built in, but they didn't used to. Yeah. That's true. Like, it's not like you could pause it in Mortal Kombat and it would give you a move list.
Even then, though, you have to like pause and then go into the menu and all kinds of shit. Like, there are some things where it is more useful to just have it literally physically at your side, to where you can have it like marked and have it open on your desk or like table or whatever, like as you're playing.
I've actually had to look up.
I think that's good
for fighting games. There's been a couple times when like they're indicating buttons that I don't even know what they're talking about,
right.
And I actually had to watch like a video where somebody walked me through and was like, that button means this, you need to do that, means you need to do, because sometimes the notation of like what the fighting combos are it's like some arc.
Oh, like
some slash move. Yeah. That's all it says is slash.
Yeah.
And the PlayStation doesn't have a slash button. I'm like,
press
I got
slash.
a square, I got a triangle, I don't have a slash. Yeah. So, and then they're like, oh, they mean like forward dash or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. I got that. Those types of notations can be confusing, but
you already have to be good at the game or in the game or a fan of that game to like know what some of that shit means, or you have to have a guide.
You have to look it up typically, and then once you know all the like basically the legend, and I mean that like in the legend that notates what it is, not you know what I mean, like
of Zelda.
No, I don't
Acreus.
Yeah, legend. Yeah, sure. Anyway, once you have that legend of Acreus. Zelda, you can figure out the combos from there. So that's fine too. But you enjoy watching like videos of stuff though.
I do. I don't necessarily. So a lot of the walkthrough-esque stuff that I do, a lot of it is not that it's like, oh crap, I'm stuck, how do I figure this out? I genuinely enjoy watching how other people play games and solve problems, because I find it, because there's not just one approach. Sometimes there's like one solution, but like how people got to that solution is often different, or they use a different loadout if it's something like Destiny or whatever. I enjoy that. I enjoy watching that, and if there's actually commentary on top of it, I enjoy hearing their how they thought through why they picked their loadout or why they did this, because sometimes you won't see people do it the exact same way. I like hearing the thinking behind how someone solved the problem instead of just always getting the solution. So yeah, I do watch a lot of videos, but it's not for like solve this for me.
I can't express enough how much I hate video guides.
Really?
Oh my god. If I ask a question in like on the clan on Discord and they post a link to a video, I won't even read it. It's all I can do not to like type back some nasty like use your words like a big boy type of response.
That's interesting.
Oh my god.
Sometimes a text one is better, I think, right? If it's clearly labeled with like headings like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and a screenshot.
Yeah.
That's sometimes you can just glance at it and be like, okay, cool. Yeah. But sometimes I think you do need a video to like see the exact like path to take, or it is a pain in the ass sometimes when they could tell you, because sometimes it's like one little nugget inside of that video is all you really need to know.
Yeah.
And they're like, here's a video. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, just answer the question.
I feel like every video is like that.
Yeah.
There is like a
30-second
chunk.
Welcome to the show. We're going to subscribe and shit.
Oh, God.
Smash that like button. Yeah. There's like 5 minutes of that up front. And
before I get started, let me just tell you, I'm like, oh my God.
Where is the answer?
I don't care who your parents are. I don't care what your life choices are. I want to know where on that hill the thing under the rock I'm looking for is. I can't tell you how furious.
And so if it's like a task thing like that, I think oftentimes text-based guide things are better, where it's like a title, a very quick description, and a really good screenshot. That's all you need.
They're always okay. The only time. So now here come my exceptions, because there are times I have to use them. There are times like if I'm going into when I'm playing like an MMO or a traditional RPG and I have to tank, there's a lot of responsibility on the tank to not fuck this up.
Right.
If I'm going into an encounter blind that I haven't run before, I will, if it's something that's harder, like a raid equivalent, and I'm tanking, I will watch the video, because there's some shit you just gotta see, and some jobs that are just complicated enough. Like in my opinion, tanking. If I was healing, I would have done the same thing.
Right.
If I was just doing DPS, I probably don't give a shit. I can figure it out. I'm a smart enough player. But there are times when I will watch a video. I haven't gone into a raid blind in Destiny yet. I've always at least watched the video, so I kind of know what I'm doing, because despite the fact that I hate video guides, I hate being the guy who fucked it up more. I hate the guy being in there and be like, so what's happening? I don't know anything about this.
What are we doing here, guys?
Are bows good for this fight? No, I should have deleted all my bows before. Yeah, cool. No, I don't have any bows. No, definitely not. So I got a rocket launcher. Oh, rocket launcher will kill everybody if I use it? Yeah, obviously I'm not going to use it.
I just want you guys to know that I
just want you to know that I have it in case anybody has a cool strat. I saw different, you guys don't use that strat, that's cool. Like I hate that even more. I refuse to be the dipshit that got everyone killed and everyone else knew their shit, and I'm the one who showed up being like, so you guys going to carry me through this or what? I can't do it.
So there are instances, right, with encounters like that where like you need to show up not being an idiot, knowing something.
You need to know what's expected
having a
of
decent gun set, having a basic idea of the mechanics of the thing.
Yeah.
But there are things other times where it's like less pressure, where I actually still really enjoy. I don't want to look it up, and I don't want to just be told what, like, you should have known this shit or something. Like sometimes it's fun to play socially, and the guide is like this playing together and people showing you things. I really, that's my favorite strategy guide, is playing with people who are like, oh yeah, so on this next part you're going to want to watch out for this, or I love to be carried. No, I think there's something cool to like the social sharing experience.
In instances that are like less pressure, or maybe there's only like one or two other people, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Like for the Ascendant challenges, maybe I'll look up just a text real quick, generally what I have to get into. I'm not going to watch a video game. I kind of like to get in there and stumble around and bang my head a couple times and laugh about it.
That's part of like that's like I said at the very beginning of this, like that's my beef, is like that's part of the joy of gaming, is like learning to solve those problems, learning the systems of the game for yourself.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You shouldn't just be handed all of that.
Look, obviously, also, I'm in the minority on video guides. Like, they're really popular. It's hard to Google a text guide.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, please, I'm like scrolling through pages of videos being like, can anybody write anymore? Are we a completely illiterate world?
So there's another extreme, though. What is it, Prima Guides or whatever?
Yeah, so Prima Guides used to be the guy.
Yeah.
Like, even back when GameStop, like, I used to laugh rudely in their face and be like, do you want to pick up the strategy guide? We have the internet, okay? Al Gore died so that we could have the internet.
Al Gore?
So we could have the internet.
Yeah. Al Gore would be rolling in his grave
if he knew that I was buying a paper guide. Why do you think he came up with the internet? No?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
You're the historian.
He said, well, that was like the primary reason, and then the secondary reason was pornography. So,
what a patriot.
Some of the new guides that have come out, though, like if you, like I was looking on Amazon, are really cool. They're I don't know how much I would use it, but they would look real good on the shelf. They're like hardback with like really rich texture color and the pages and it looks really good as like a collector's item. I don't know how much I would actually use it.
Well, let's finish what we're saying about Prima Guides first. Yeah. It's a weird website.
It is.
I mean, to me, I thought it was like uncomfortable. It looked like a shitty version of like Kotaku or something.
It reminded me of when you are on a legitimate website and then you reach the end of the article and then it says like from around the web, articles you might like, and then you click and it doesn't take you to the article that you clicked on. It takes you to this weird intermediary with all these weird shitty links that take you weird shady places.
Yeah,
that's what it reminded me of. But that's just the look of their site. If you click on it, it takes you to articles, but it's just really janky looking.
I also personally was I wasn't impressed with their guides.
Yeah, so
I would look through stuff and be like, this is kind of a sucky guide.
That's what I was going to say about the text thing. I saw something on there for Destiny 2 to reach the secret spot that a lot of people have been talking about lately. Yeah. I clicked on it and it was one picture that was not a good helpful screenshot. It was just a picture of Destiny 2 stuff.
Yeah.
And then it had a shitload of dense text with no paragraph breaks, no calling out to step 1, step 2, step 3. Yeah. And it like upset me that someone would do that when it was clearly like a how to do this, how to reach this. So it's not like text is better. So I think there's a lot of like respect for why that person's coming to the content and here, let me give you the result you're looking for right now.
Yep.
Other than like subscribe bros or like read my 7 paragraphs before I get to the point.
That's true. And even if I do find like, let's say I see 5 articles and I click on one and it looks like shit, I don't even continue. Or like, depending on what they said, where they're like, the gun guide is supposed to come out and here's some of our theories on, immediately back. Yeah. Nope, I don't want to hear your fucking theories.
And they're clearly just putting out pumping articles out for like clickbait.
If I wanted to hear a couple jackasses what their theories are on video games, I'd listen to Save Every Universe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's not what I'm looking for right now.
Like we just ramble. and we go nowhere. Really, really long setups.
Yeah, just...
What are we talking about?
I thought we were talking about smash that like button. All right, so why hasn't the internet... Let's get to what you were saying. You liked some of those guides, so why don't you think the internet has killed it?
I think that's literally the only reason they exist, is that people want to put them on the shelf as a collector's item.
What? Well, I have several points.
I know you do.
You don't believe me?
No, and I think some of these are valid. Like I said, with like fighting games, right? Or something, or like a water temple type example.
Yeah.
Or if like the Breath of the Wild guide had all the Kuroku seed shit in a printed copy, I could see that being helpful, having that open at your side as you're playing, finding all these things.
You could see it?
I guess I could see that.
You can literally see it, because it's a fucking map, okay? It's an illustration on paper that you don't have to wiggle with your little finger and look on your cracked-ass screen on your iPhone, okay? It's a fucking illustration that somebody made and crafted, okay? It's a map, and it's fucking great.
Yes, but the one online is better, probably, because you can remove things from the legend that you don't want to see. Once you have it isolated to the shit you're hunting for, you can click on it and it'll often give you more information about it.
That's true. Hyperlinks are great. However, okay, personally, I have like a 2-monitor setup where I can run my console on one screen and a map.
Not all of us have 2 monitors.
That's what I'm saying. So you should be arguing if I didn't have that.
No, that was my point. Is I could see that. That's like, okay, you would have it open, the physical guide open next to you while you're doing that. That's fine.
Look, and not everyone has a smartphone.
Yeah.
I know that's hard to believe to you Apple users out there.
I don't even like my smartphone.
Yeah.
But you have it, don't you?
I'm using it as a joke. Who is a joke to? You know, the other thing I thought about, because of my son's book, it's not always easy for a kid to use that type of guide.
That's a good reason. And you just, like, you don't maybe want your kid just freely roaming the internet or whatever, looking at anything and everything.
Right.
Because gaming guides often link to, or gaming sites and stuff often have links to, like, Chive-esque.
Yeah.
Like,
I've also never,
girls and stuff.
I don't think I've ever brought up an online guide that didn't say, that didn't have a link to the right that said, don't let your girlfriend see you play this game.
Right.
I've never.
There's always some kind of weird shady link on the top or bottom or side or something. Yeah.
And I'm always like, what?
So to give them a printed thing that's relevant to the modern games they're playing, that's awesome. That's a good reason.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool to see.
So guides are for children is basically and
collectors.
Yes.
Because they do look pretty cool.
They do look good. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting that you actually think they would look. I mean, you really like having books, though.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the perfect crossroads of like nerdiness and books.
Yeah.
Where you can't resist. You bought the Grimoire, right?
Yeah. I bought the Destiny Grimoire anthology. I don't even know if I'll read it. I just think it looks really cool.
When does it come in?
I don't know. It said fall 2018. I don't know if they've shipped it.
You don't even care. You'll just give them your blank check, charge whatever they think is fair.
Yeah, we said on an episode about our darkest gaming confessions. Yeah, it's kind of like my pre-order thing. I really, sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I just enjoy getting on a hype train about something and owning the shit, even if I don't use it or like it.
So kind of on the collector's note, I do think that there's still really cool art in these video game guides.
That's true.
And that's the closest thing you're going to see to like the old school art. You remember like instruction manuals used to have really cool art?
Yes,
I kind of want to do an episode about that. But like box art, instruction art, all that stuff used to be like a really big part of the game.
Yeah.
And now you have to like go online and Google it, and you're not even sure if you're looking at.
We did an episode about that.
On instruction?
Physical versus digital.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that.
The boxes and the cartridge and the instruction.
I've thought about doing
like
diving more into like if we could find examples.
Like
art.
art. Yeah.
Video games is art.
Well,
we
should
do
like
that as an episode.
Like the lore. Like now you have to buy Destiny, you have to like buy a separate lore book.
Yeah.
Right? And they used to get some of that in the instruction guide. And, you'd get a cool map that unfolded that you could put on your wall and all. Like, you can't get that now with everything being digital. Even physical, none of it comes with that.
Right.
Yeah. Unless you buy the collector's edition that has all that shit.
Yeah. Actually, I have, like, from the collector's edition in my house, I've got that solar system map of Destiny.
Yeah.
I've got the art from Chrono Trigger.
Right.
Like, I've got it framed in my house. But you're not typically, though I will say the Chrono Trigger poster that I have, that just came in the normal 3DS game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was just part of it. And it unfolded was a map. It was really cool.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore unless you go out of your way to buy something like a strategy guide.
So a strategy guide, if you really want to get into some of that art, I think that's another cool reason to buy it.
See, that's a good reason, Nolan. You're converting me. I'm going to go buy a strategy guide.
Yeah, I believe you.
I might get the Red Dead Redemption 2 strategy guide. Maybe that's what I'll do.
Do you think that's probably a pretty useful one, actually?
Probably. There's like 200 species of animals and all kinds of crazy crap. Like, that probably would be a helpful guide to have.
Yeah, if you missed it, we talked about that in a few episodes ago, actually. It probably would be a good one.
Yeah.
You think you'll get it?
I'll think about it real hard.
Oh, man.
Maybe I'll just put it in my Amazon basket and maybe someone will order it on accident, you know?
Yeah, or maybe you'll put it on your wish list and delete it out of guilt.
Obsessively.
On, off, on, off, on, off.
Thank you for listening to Save Every Universe. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. If you'd like to support us financially, you can do so at Patreon. At patreon.com/Save Every Universe. I don't know why I have trouble with that.
That's right, Alec. And when you become a patron, you become a champion of the universe.
When I become a human that can talk.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. That doesn't get you a link.
Not
but if you become a patron, you also become a champion of the universe, where you receive an exclusive link to our Discord channel, to the Champions of the Universe channel, where you can champion your cause with us, the saviors of the universe.
That we and we say words too.
And then you can make corrections on Alec's grammar anytime you like, 24/7.
Yeah, or tell Robbie to be a better person.
But, if your internet connection is intermittent and you only have email, you can reach us at saveeveryuniverse@gmail.com.